Hey, happy Thursday, everybody. Today is Thursday, April 30th, 2020. I am Coach Bear, Coach Glenn the Bear, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 11 of The Road to Happy Destiny. RTHD, as we affectionately call it. I am all jacked up. Today is another beautiful day in the neighborhood, and I couldn't be more excited than to begin this day with you all. So, let's go ahead and get started right away. But before we do, let me remind you that we are coming to you from Casa 15 Hundo in Metairie, Louisiana, right on the edge of Bucktown, baby. And I'm getting ready to start this ride. We riding? Well, I'm with ya, homie. All right, let's get started with our prayer for the day. Prayer. I pray that I may develop the divine spark within me. I pray that by so doing, I may fulfill the promise of a more abundant life. I think we're all working on that inner peace, inner self, if you will, to help propel us to getting to an abundant life. I know that I am taking these steps by doing these videos. These videos start me off in a great way each and every day. And, we're all working towards something. So that's our prayer for today. A couple of thoughts coming to you from my cousin Jeb in Lafayette, Louisiana. We got about 3 thoughts for you here. And then I've got a 4th one that he sent for our final thought of the day. So here we go with thoughts. I cannot control people, places, or things. That's valid. I cannot. I cannot control how others think, feel, or act. That too is valid. I cannot control that. I know sometimes, and I'll speak for me here, I make the attempt to control people, places, and things, or to control how people think, act, and feel. And that's not in my control. I have to control the controllables, which is myself. And I need to continue daily to work on that. And the things that I can't control, I need to let go of. And let things work out as they may. Because, those 2 statements right there in the thoughts, I want to read them again, okay? I cannot control how others think, feel, or act. I cannot control people, places, or things. All right? And those are valid points. Our next thought for the day, we don't get to decide what hurts other people, right? You may say some things that hurt someone. You can't decide whether that hurts them or not. You might not have meant it to hurt, but the way it came out, it hurt that person. We don't get to decide that. So we have to kind of be careful when we are working with other people and dealing with other people and around other people, of their feelings. Obviously we want to express what we want to express, but we want to be doing so in a way that's not threatening or anything along those lines. So those are a few good thoughts for today. Now, before we dive into action, I want to say this. Yesterday, I had a few people let me know that I left them hanging by not telling the story that I said I was going to tell, and I pushed it to today, and we are going to get to it, but I'm afraid that now all the buildup is there, that it might not be the greatest story in the world, because it's really not a story about me or anything along those lines, but what it is a story that I used to tell just about every team that I ever coached at the beginning of a season. And it's a story about change, which was yesterday's topic, and a story about going from point A here and getting to point B, which is hopefully here, and not staying like this or just going up a little bit. So as a team, you always want to develop and you want to get better each and every day. So this is how I would start off the season, and I hope you enjoy this little thing. I thought of it when I lived in a little rent house off of Clearview on King Street, and there was this empty lot next to me. And as it progressed, I thought of this story. So here we go. So you ever notice when you walk by, let's say, an empty lot, there's nothing there, right? Maybe the grass is high and it doesn't have a whole lot of aesthetics to it. And so all of a sudden you notice one day that the grass is cut and you see a few trucks coming by and they're going to build on that piece of property. And you're excited. You're like, oh man, this was just this empty lot that wasn't that great. And now it's going to be something outstanding. I'm looking forward to seeing it. And then some things start happening quickly. You know, you get the cement poured and everything, and all of a sudden the foundation of the house starts to go up. And that process takes a little bit of time. It does move quickly, but it's very important, right? You got to make sure the foundation is solid. So you have to take careful steps in building that foundation. You have to make sure that foundation is secure and is sound. Kind of like as a team, we need to build our foundation here early in the season. You know, and as you see this foundation and you're hearing the hammering and all the work that is going into it, and you're actually maybe driving by and seeing this work, you know, you start to notice that it starts to progress and you're starting to see walls going up, right? Seeing walls. But what you're noticing about the outside is that it's starting to get a little bit messy. You might see trash on the ground from the construction workers, you know, grass is torn up. If it rained, it's a little muddy. You see puddles, things like that. And so, you know, it's not really that great of a beauty, but you are seeing progress. Well, next thing you know, the outside's going up, whether it's brick or siding or whatever the outside is going to be, and things are starting to really take shape. All right? And before you know it, before long, man, that house is built. But it's not finished. Just the outside. Man, we got a strong foundation. We're really, really firming up the outside. We're making things look nice, but we still got more work to do. And that's about mid-season, right? About mid-season, hey, you feel like you're getting better, but we still got more work to do. You know, we got to clean up things that are maybe on the ground, like you see outside of this construction going up, and we got to keep moving forward. And we want to get there faster than slower, right? So we want to keep moving at a good pace, a good speed. All right, so next thing you know, people are coming working on the inside and all the interior stuff is going up. And all of a sudden, you know, after a little period of time, that's done. All right, and now it looks like the house is finished and it's all complete. But it's not. There's still stuff on the outside that's not pretty. It's not aesthetically pleasing to the eye. So, next thing you know, trash is getting picked up. Construction items are being moved. Okay? And now all of a sudden, you're seeing like landscape people come in and putting up a garden and planting grass and all that. And they're watering it. And it's taking shape and it's getting strong. And next thing you know, you go by that house, which you drove by not too long ago as this empty lot, maybe with weeds waist high, to this beautiful construction that is going to make some family very, very happy one day. And that is what I would tell my teams we had to do. You know, we got to start from where it's not exactly pretty, and we got to keep progressing and keep building and keep building and keep building. And for us, that big house is hopefully at the end of the season where we can look back on our season and say, hey, we put in a ton of work. We tried to make things as good as we could possibly make them. Whatever the outcome is at the end of the season, as long as we went from point A being here to point B being here, that's what we're trying to do. If we win championships along the way, Jimmy crack corn and giddy up, I love it. But as long as we see the growth, that team was successful. And some people out there are saying, oh, coach, you wouldn't have been happy unless you won championships. That is not true. That is not true. That's obviously always the goal. But, you know, some teams don't win championships, and they're some of the most rewarding coaching experiences I ever had. You know, some teams did end in championships, and they were extremely rewarding as well. But, you know, I loved that little analogy that I feel like I came up with. I don't remember hearing it from anywhere, of you know, that the house being built on that piece of property and turning into something beautiful that you can look back on at the end and say, boy, I remember that growth process. Because change and growth are good. All right. Now, I am going to jump into action. I'm sorry if that story wasn't the greatest story in the world, but it was something I wanted to share because I used to love to tell that story at the beginning of the season. And So I hope you enjoyed it. I should have said that before announcing Into Action. But it is time for Into Action. Grab your handy-dandy Into Action notebook. Get your favorite utensil used for writing purposes. And let's start jotting down our Into Action. I forgot to mention at the end of yesterday's show, after you're Into Action, you want to write down something that stood out or jumped out at you during the show that you want to write about, whether it's a word or a phrase or a sentence or multiple sentences or a paragraph or a book. Whatever the case may be for you. So, we are going to take our Into Action in 3 columns today. These columns are going to be gratitude. You knew that was coming. We mentioned the word promise in the prayer today, so I want to focus on that. And we mentioned the word control in our thoughts for the day. Okay? So, we're going to write down one thing for each of these 3 items. All right, and as I go through mine, you're going to go through your list. Gratitude, what you are grateful for today. Promise, and let me read a couple of quick definitions of promise. A promise is a declaration or assurance that one will do a particular thing or that a particular thing will happen. A promise is to assure someone that one will definitely do, give, or arrange something. To undertake or declare that something will happen, right? So someone's saying it and they're going to make that happen. So what are you going to promise that you can do today? Something that you can promise that you're going to put into action. And you might want to pick something small that you know you can do. Okay, and we don't want to make promises we can't keep. That's what happens a lot of times when people get fed up with people who are in addictions or disorders or things like that. You know, they really don't want to continue, but they do, and then people get frustrated and they say, oh, you promised that wouldn't happen again. That's a topic for another day, but again, that's why we want to make promises that we can keep. All right? And then for control, you know, once again, what we said earlier in our thoughts for the day, we can't really control people, places, or things. You know, we can't control how others think, feel, or act, right? All right, so what we can control today. All right, I'm going to start my list. You begin yours. Into action. Gratitude for me. I am grateful for my kids and my nephews and my nieces. I want to be thankful for all of those people today because they do watch my show and they are trying to get people to subscribe to my YouTube channel at search for Cyril Melville, C-Y-R-I-L, Melville, M-E-L-V-I-L-L-E. Hey, kids, nephews, nieces, keep pushing people to subscribe. I want to get to minimum of 100 by Sunday, and we're in the 70s now. Hey, you folks out there can help us as well. So I am grateful for my kids, my children, my daughter, my son, my nieces, Abby and Mary, my nephews, Nicholas and Jacob, and of course my kids are Olivia and Owen. So I'm thankful for them today and every single day, but I wanted to make mention on my show. Promise. I'm going to promise to help someone out today. And the reason why I can make that promise, I already have. I've had to give some people rides to places today who didn't have rides, so I was helpful to them. I helped out a friend of mine this morning with his watch a little bit. So that's my promise for today. I see a light blinking, which means I might run out of time. Control. I'm going to control my attitude today. I'm going to control my positivity today. And that is my control for today. All right? Real quick, continue to subscribe on Facebook. Please like, comment, and share. And a final thought, since the camera is blinking. It is impossible for a man or woman to begin to learn what he or she thinks he or she already knows. Think about that. Hey, be happy, be joyous, be free, be in gratitude, be into action. And again, I don't know how much time I have, so I'm going to go ahead and get out at this time. Sorry to cut things just a little bit short. Hey, have a great day. I love you out there. Peace.